What's up? Welcome to In the Lounge with Dre and V. I am your co-host, Queen V, and I have with me that dude, Dre. What up, Dre?
Queen V, what's the good word? What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm hanging in there.
Good. Is that all?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Getting tired of being stereotyped and people calling the police on me, but I'm all right.
Somebody that called the police on you?
I'm sure they have it before, but no, not recently.
Okay, you're not talking about you in particular. You're just talking about folks that look like you?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So today, we're going to talk about the stereotypes of African Americans. I think that's something that needs to be identified in these days and times because, it's just getting ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It's getting crazy. And I feel like, they always say history repeats itself. And I think we're going through another stage of not so much slavery, but because we're supposed to be free, but it's just another way of racism and slavery without the whips, without the beatings, and without being the norm. So it's like other ways of kind of keeping us mentally enslaved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. So I guess we're going to talk about all of this, and we're going to discuss it. I'm going to give my opinion. Queen V is going to give her opinion. But first, we're going to have Queen V's word on the street. Queen V, I need you to take it away.
It's the queen, y'all. It's the queen, y'all.
Place your ear to your speaker and get ready for Queen V's word on the street.
It's the queen, y'all. It's the queen, y'all.
So my word on the street is kind of in tune with what we're going to discuss tonight. So I'm sure you all have heard of the doing something while black incidents that have been going on, seems like for a couple of years now, and we just gotten to the point where it's sad, but we've just had to give them a name and kind of make some comedy out of it, but it's not really that funny. It's starting to really annoy me. The amount of things that happen, it seems like on a weekly basis. So, you had the one where the lady called the guy on him for barbecuing in a public park. You had the whole thing with Starbucks. You had somebody, they were going into their apartment building, and someone literally followed them all the way up on the elevator to their floor and watched them put their key in their door because she just was for sure that they didn't belong there because they were black. And it's just too much. So the latest one is Target Teresa. So Target Teresa, she was in Target. There was 2 black women in Target with her, amongst other people, of course. And she was ear hustling. That's what I'm going to just say. She was ear hustling. She heard them talking about sex, or so what she thought was them talking about sex, which I didn't know was illegal or unauthorized to do in a public setting. I mean, I know you can't have sex in public, but I didn't know you couldn't talk about sex in public. News to me. Who knew? But apparently Target Teresa wanted to make sure that they knew, okay? So she goes up to them and tells them that she can't believe that they're talking about sex in public and how dare they do this. And I'm a little ticked about the women because they sat there and explained to her what they were really talking about. And I would have just threw up a finger and kept it moving.
Me too.
But to each his own. So then it got a little bit, left field. It went from, y'all shouldn't be talking about this in public to, calling them abusive, saying that they don't belong there. She says, I knew you were trained. I know you're trained on lying. You're perfect for the court systems because you're all trained liars.
Damn.
Like, really? That's what we doing right now in Tarjay? Like, dumbfounded. And it's just like, it's too much. So I'm like, did she not want you talking about sex in public because there was children? Because from the video, she didn't appear to have children with her.
I was about to ask, was there children around?
I mean, but that's how they got there. If she did have them, like, why is sex so taboo? Like, I don't understand.
Well, you know, some people, you know, if you, I guess, not defending her, but, you know, I'm definitely not defending her. But, you know, if there's kids in the store and yeah, maybe they should know that, but I want to be the one that explains it. I don't want them to hear it from somebody else. So, you know, it could be
but
that.
Why are we protecting children? Like, I guess it's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day.
I just told you why.
People,
look,
why?
There's nothing wrong with telling them, but I want to be the one that tell them. I want to tell my kids. I don't want my kids to hear it.
In this day and age, you're going to hear some stuff in the streets.
But
the kids are cussing at the bus stop.
That's true, but I still want the opportunity to explain to my child how this goes on. I don't want them to hear it in the street. They are going to hear it in the street, but, you know, before they hear in the street, I would like to explain it to them so when they do hear it in the street, they know what's facts and what's untrue.
So would you have been a target, Teresa?
No. I would have pulled my child away if my child was there.
Okay.
Because everybody got a right to say what they want. But I would have pulled my child away. I wouldn't have did that. She ignorant. But there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. It's a lot. And it's just so many things. I mean, I got a whole list here. Let's see. September, and some of this you mentioned already, but September 8th, 2018, Wisconsin cop mistakes a robber, is mistaken for a robber as he was riding with his white grandmother. You heard that story. That was on CNN. This kid I think he was young. He was like 15 or something like that. I'm not sure the age, but he was a young kid. And the cop stopped him because somebody called and said the kid kidnapped the white lady, which was his grandmother. So that's just one thing. Cleveland, Ohio, 12-year-old. The cops a call for a 12-year-old, and he was because he was mowing the lawn. Oakland, California, 2 African American men barbecuing, and the cops were called. We heard that one. San Francisco, California, cops were called on the 8-year-old girl for selling bottled water outside the ballpark. She was trying to raise money to go, I believe it was to go pay for something, some type of trip that they were going on. She got called, some lady called the cops. And the thing is, the girl was in front of her house. So the white lady
she didn't have a permit.
Had a problem with that.
That's what she's going to say. She didn't have a permit.
That's what she said, too. That's what she said. But I think that permit applies to selling it at the ballpark. But she was more in front of her house than in the ballpark.
Yeah, you still have to have a permit, though.
But
that doesn't mean that she should be calling the cops on the 8-year-old. She should have minded her business. It's water. It's not like she out there hustling.
And there's another one here. I think this is Warsaw, North Carolina. Cops are called on a 22-year-old black male at the Waffle House after the young man was taking his sister to the prom. So they went to the Waffle House after the prom, and somebody called the cops. Don't know why. They just called the cops. 2 black men in Philly. You heard about that. They were arrested as they waited for someone in Starbucks. I think that was the one. June 19th. This was a while back, but June 19th, police in Pittsburgh shot a 17-year-old for fleeing in a car. He jumped out the car and started running. And a 17-year-old got shot. And that's a whole nother podcast. I dare a cop to say I was in fear of my life while the guy was running away. They deserve to be smacked for that. And if you and one more thing before I get off this topic, if you're an officer and you are in fear of your life when somebody's running away, you might want to consider something different. If they're running away, you have no reason to fear anybody. All right. You know, I respect officers, and I thank you for keeping us safe. It's very well appreciated, and I know there's a lot more good cops than bad cops. But for those who are those bad cops, you know, if they're running away, you can't be in fear of your life. Last one, August 2018, girl was calling. Somebody called the cops on a girl when she was eating lunch on campus. We seen that on CNN also. That girl was very upset. She was crying, and it's just like, you know, when does it stop, Queen V?
Right. I mean, you heard about the one where there was a black male nanny of 2 white kids.
Black male, yes, I did see that. Yep.
You know, and I understand, you know, I can't even play devil's advocate on this one because it's like nobody's doing anything wrong. And I understand you rather be safe than sorry. That's the excuse a lot of them are using. But some of this is just you sticking your nose in stuff that you don't need have no business doing.
Right.
Those kids didn't look like they were in harm. Those kids didn't look like, you know.
I think they were just playing, right?
First of all, he was the nanny. He's supposed to be with them.
Yeah.
So because he's a black male, all of a sudden you think that there's something wrong with him being with white kids, and so you calling the cops. It's unnecessary.
That's very unnecessary.
I mean, you know, and the thing was, well, we just wanted to make sure that the kids weren't being harmed and that they were supposed to be with him. And listen, my heart goes, I appreciate folks trying to make sure that kids are okay. But some of this is it really that, or are you just
Right.
stereotyping? Because he's a black guy, you don't think he's supposed to be with those kids.
And I try to put myself in that same situation. If I seen like a white guy with 2 black kids in a park, or I don't think I would call the cops.
I wouldn't.
I don't think I would. You know, I think it all depends on your way of thinking. You know, I think it's about your way of thinking. Like, you know, if you have this fear of black men, or that they're, you know, you believe heavily in those stereotypes, well, every time you see a black person doing something, you're gonna call the cops. You know, and some of them like might not be racist. They just believe in stereotypes of black people do this and do that. They don't necessarily have to be racist. Some of them are, some of them aren't. I don't think some of them are racist. I just think they're not. I'm not gonna call them dumb. I'm not gonna call them ignorant. They're
ignorant.
They're just misled.
They're ignorant.
Ignorant.
I'm gonna call them
you
ignorant.
Call them ignorant?
They're ignorant.
They're just ignorant to real facts. You know, I mean, if you believe in a stereotype and you brought up on these stereotypes, everything a black person do is going to be wrong. Because here's a stereotype here. Black people steal. I got a list here. Black people steal. Black people don't want to work. So let's just say black people steal. This is probably why we get followed around in stores, because they think that we steal. That's stereotype 1. That's the reaction of 1. Stereotype 2, all blacks don't want to work. Reaction for that, they make comments about us being on welfare. Okay? Stereotype 3, all blacks are criminals and thugs. Reaction to that, that's why we keep getting shot. Unarmed black men getting shot, because a lot of people think we're just criminals and thugs. So, see what else I got here.
And speaking of criminals, black men being criminals, let's talk about this Alabama mall shooting real quick.
Okay.
So, E.J. Bradford, there was a mall shooting at one of the malls in Alabama. And I'm sure it was chaotic. I'm going to put that out there. I'm sure it was very chaotic because you don't expect that, right?
Right.
So they think that E.J. Bradford, they see him. You know, I don't know if his gun was out, if it was exposed, whatever. They assumed he was a shooter. They shot him dead. Now, here's a couple things. And this is why the gun laws need to be reworked, because that's one of those open carry states.
Okay.
He had a permit. He had every right to have a gun. And somebody say, oh, well, it wasn't allowed in the mall. Whatever.
Right.
Second of all, these Second Amendment enthusiasts or, you know, promoters
right.
say the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
So if his gun was exposed because he's trying to protect the public from the bad guy with the gun,
Right. Why is the good guy getting shot?
why is the good guy dead?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, when I think about these school shootings and these mass murders and these, no offense to anybody, but I'm just going to put it out there. These white guys that are doing this come away from this, unless they kill themselves, they come away from this untouched, unharmed.
Yeah.
But you
that's true.
you shooting first and asking questions later when you think it's a black person.
Yep. That's true.
Now this family is without their child because you shot first. And I understand, maybe you thought it was him, maybe he was waving his gun. But at some point we have to have, training to make sure that these officers are getting them to a point where they can't harm anyone without having to take their life.
Yeah.
We have too many lives being lost because people are fearful of black and brown people. We have, I talked about this on a previous podcast, the guy Willie Horton, his picture was posted on this political ad and they were saying, making people fearful of him. And then people had this fear for black people, for black men in particular, I should say, for black men. Trump is now doing the same thing with Hispanics. You get one Hispanic criminal, murderer, or whatever, rapist, and now he's using these ads to promote that all of them are rapists.
Yeah.
And it's just not right. But then, you have these people who don't know any better from these backwoods who ain't seen nobody else that don't look like them and grow up around diversity. And so they just believe what they see on TV and what's being fed to them. And at some point, we got to say enough is enough. Get to know me.
Right. And 2 points, 2 points I want to make real quick. That thing that Trump did with the making like other people, be feared for. It was so bad that even Fox pulled that one of those campaign ads. Fox, somebody who that a network that loves Trump, they pulled it. So it's bad. And 2, about the open carry with the gun thing, I'm not for open carry.
It's not meant for you. As a black man,
I'm not.
That does not apply to you.
It's not, because
it will get you killed.
Here's the thing, like I'm not for open carry. I don't think any state should have open carry. I think gun laws need to be like in New Jersey. It's 5 years. You get caught with a gun, 5 years automatic. There's no parole. There's no short sentence. There's no early release. It's 5 years. And I think I think those laws like that need to be federal.
But see, you talking about people who are illegally carrying guns. These folks that are killing people, Andre, have the right and a permit to carry that weapon. So how does that fix the problem? Like, let's just be honest. That 5-year law that you're referring to, that's for somebody that's illegally carrying a gun.
No, I'm talking about like here's my thing. Like it's just not. I'm not just talking about like cops killing.
I'm talking about these.
Okay, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. The guy next door. Let's just say there's a guy next door that lives next to me. He carries a gun. He goes to the mall because he gets to carry a gun. So he's carrying a gun. He goes to the mall. Some guy gets in his, says something to him. Don't come near him, but just says something to him. He pulls out his gun, shoots the guy. He was in fear of his life. If the gun laws say he shouldn't have a gun, and they had strict laws saying you can't have a gun, you can't have open carry state, it would have never happened. Now, with the police, yeah, but I'm talking about going in the mall.
I get what you're saying.
If that was the case in Florida, Trayvon Martin will still be alive.
I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that the gun law that you were referring to in New Jersey serves no purpose because that's regarding illegal guns. That's all I'm saying. No, we're not talking about people that are walking around with illegal guns. We're talking about people that are walking around with guns.
I'll take that back. I'm talking about open carry. I'm talking about open carry. That's not the illegal. I'm sorry. You're right. Open carry. So the Jersey thing, let's scratch that. I don't think we should have open carry in any state because that's how people get trigger happy, they get nervous, and everybody gets shot. An armed society is a polite society. That's bullshit for a black man anyway. So yeah, I'm totally, and I don't care. Like whoever, you don't believe what I'm saying and you mad at me because you can't carry it right, you can kiss my ass. So here's the thing. Open carry, I don't think it should be in any state. And here's another thing. All these black men carrying guns in these open states, you are giving them a signed, sealed document saying you could kill me because we getting shot without guns and they getting away with it. So when you have a gun in an open carry state, all you have to do is get out your car and go to the mall. A police can come there and shoot you right dead for no freaking reason. And all they're going to say is, I was in fear of my life, so I shot him. He had a gun, which he did, so I shot him. Doesn't matter if he was pulling the gun out. Doesn't matter if he was paying for an item at the register. He had a gun, and I shot him. So all these, and all these guys, and this is, this is just something I want everybody to hear, especially African-American males. All of y'all walking around in open carry states with guns, thinking, it gives you some type of respect and all of that. And you feel good with a gun. You feel like a big shot because everybody's staring at you because you got a gun and you feel that power or whatever. You're writing a ticket for yourself to get shot these days because all they got to do is say you have a gun. That's it, Queen V. That's it. All right. I can go to the store right now with a gun right on me, and he was trying to rob the place. Get shot. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing, what pisses me off is when somebody gets shot, when an African American gets shot, and it was like, and they don't have a gun or anything like that. You know what they do? They bring up his history. Well, he was arrested when he was 15 for this and that. Who cares? That don't give you a right. He could have 16 convictions in the past, but if he ain't got no gun and you wrongfully shooting this man, no matter what he did, it's still wrong. And people need to be locked up for that. So that's my little rant. I don't know if I got off topic or not. I think it was heavily related to what we're talking about. But what you got to say, Queen V?
I hear you. I hear you. So what you got on your list that's left?
That's it. That's what I got. That's what I got on my list. I mean, I think,
Oh, I thought I had stopped you in the middle of your list.
No, I think we good with as far as the list. I mean, right now it's just, open discussion. I mean, I think we covered a lot already in the little time that we just got on here. But I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to talk.
We covered a lot, or you covered a lot.
Whatever.
I think you forgot I was in the room for a minute. I said, all righty then. I'm just gonna let him have his moment.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, all good. It's all good. But it's just, I think that it's important, to talk about race relations. I think it's something that we should be talking about more. I think it's something that, this country has had diversity since forever. And at some point we need to sit down and we need to get to know a person of a different race. We need to get to know multiple people of a different race. That's the only way that we are going to ever get better with race relations in America.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
We can't keep living in these bubbles. And it's hard because there's so many communities that are so white or black or Hispanic. We tend to cluster together, and it's like, at what point do you get to know someone else and get to know what they think? I have a friend who has a friend. She's black and she has a white friend. And the white friend told her, you're nothing like I thought you would be, because of all the stereotypes that she's heard and all the stereotypes that her family and her grandparents and her great-grandparents have told her. She believed them. And now she has a friend that's black and she's like, oh my gosh. Not only are you not like I thought you would be, your family is not like I thought you would be. They would be.
Yep.
And it just took and it wasn't that the girl was racist to begin with. She just didn't know anybody.
Yep.
So she had these stereotypes and she runs with it. And when you hear about these stories in the news, yes, I think some of them are racist, but then I think some of them are just ignorant.
Yeah.
They're just ignorant. There's people that have never seen black people before, which is why there's a lot of racism issues going on at these predominantly white institutions, because you got these folks coming from all different walks of life who have never been around anybody that didn't look like them. There might have been 2 black people in their entire school and they didn't even know those 2 black people.
Right.
So now you get to this institution with all these blacks, Hispanics, all these different races, and you're like, your stereotypes and what you think of them comes out.
Yeah.
In a very ignorant, racist way.
And we talking about 18, I guess they enter college about 18, 19, 18 years of stereotypes of what they've heard and seen on the news. And what they've heard from their parents, too, because some of them have parents that's instill that in their head.
It's parents, it's grandparents.
Yeah.
It's not just the news. Because, they're not really watching the news as a teenager. As a child growing up, they're not paying attention to the news.
Right.
They're getting everything from their parents. Our children get everything from us.
Don't say that.
No, I'm just saying. There's just,
Yeah, you're right.
So that's where they're getting it from. They're getting it from their parents and their grandparents and their aunties and their uncles. And, that's just where they're getting it from.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have things like the girl, I think she was going to Harvard, and she's in the study hall asleep, and somebody calls the cops on her. Because she's black, you think she's not supposed to be there?
Yep.
Like, if that was a white girl sleeping, would you have called the cops on her?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, at some point, fair gotta be fair, And even the way that they're throwing our people in jail, in prison, for crimes that people of the other persuasion,
Right.
do, and they don't get the same sentence. You got Centonia Brown, I think that's how you pronounce her first name. That was a 16-year-old who killed the man who had solicited her for sex. She was in fear for her life, and so she killed him. That girl's been in prison since she was 16? And she does her appeals and she's trying to get her sentence reduced. They just told her this, a couple weeks ago or recently, 51 years.
That's a long time.
51 years. Now, if that was reversed, would that have been the same outcome? We've heard of white females doing similar things and getting nothing close to that.
Right.
And it's like, this was a child. First of all, she ain't got the mind of an adult. She's
how
still
old was
immature.
she at the time? 15?
She was 16.
16, okay.
First of all, he shouldn't have been soliciting her for anything.
They must have charged
Let's
her
start
as an
there.
adult.
They did. Let's start there. So then she appealed and said, as a juvenile, I'm only supposed to get X amount of years. Or she's not supposed to get a death sentence or a life sentence, or forgot how she worded it. But they twisted it and was like, well, we're not giving you multiple life sentences. We're just giving you a life sentence or something like that. Like they twisted the law to make it okay to give this girl 51 years. It's crazy. And she had more than that. I think she had like 60 and they reduced it down to 51. So she's appealing it again.
Yeah.
And eventually I hope she gets out.
Yeah, because she was 67 years old when you get out.
That's insane.
That's crazy. You got people,
and she's already been in there. You got to remember, this happened like a couple years ago. So she's been in there.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. And I just think that, we have to get to a place where the laws are equal across the board. What you do for one, you do for the other. If you kill, This is the sentence you get. If you rob, this is the sentence you get. These judges dictating who gonna get what, when, where, how. And race is playing a part in it.
A big part in it. Absolutely.
So, but as far as the stereotypes go, I just think that folks just need to be educated. Folks need to come out of their comfort zone. Try something new. Talk to someone that doesn't look like you, that doesn't talk like you, that doesn't dress like you.
Yeah.
Whether they're the same race or not, just talk to someone who's different than you are.
Yeah.
And get to know them.
Yeah.
Because we're not all alike.
That's true. And you know what? There's a movie, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. Remember the Titans. And that's basically about a movie with segregation in the high schools. The teams, they decided to put them all in one school. The black players had to get along with the white players. The white players had to get on with the black players. And Denzel Washington, which was the coach, he put every black player with not with a white person, somebody of the opposite race. And they had to learn everything about each other. And at the beginning, it was real shaky. But at the end, they was their brothers' keepers. Like, it was a good movie about racism. And basically from that, it's just like the message, I got from that. One of them is that you don't, like Queen V was saying, you're like this because you don't know, you've never met anybody outside of your race. You never, grew up with anybody or played with anybody outside your race. And once you get to know them, you'll see that they're not that much different from you and somebody of another race. They like football the same way you like football. They like a good hot dog or hamburger at a game just like you do. And until you learn that person and get to know that person, those stereotypes are going to continue within you because you don't know any better. And you're not reaching out to find out anything different. You're just going with that, whether that be your own naive self or if it's your president that has you thinking like that, or society, or Fox News, or just TV in general. So,
or your parents, or your
parents,
aunts, or your uncles,
absolutely,
or your friends.
Yep.
Like, it's not just the media.
Right.
And I think we forget that. I mean, just like we're teaching our kids certain things in our home, they're teaching their kids certain things in their home.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta remember that we can't blame the media for everything. Media plays a huge part in it. Media is what kind of gets it going in your head, you know?
Right.
And then you just go from there.
Yeah, yep. So I guess
black folks are horrible tippers. Actually, the millennials are the worst tippers.
Yes. Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
a good
saying?
point. Yeah, yep.
So because of that stereotype, we don't get proper service.
Yep.
The waiters don't come to our table as often. They give us mediocre service because they think we're not going to tip them. And then what happens? Because I work hard for my coinage. So you're going to get mediocre tip because you're giving me mediocre service. And it's simply because I'm black, because you think I'm not going to tip. So you didn't already came to my table with this stereotype that I'm not going to tip you.
Right.
So you're going to do the bare minimum.
And that's happened to us before.
And then we're feeling guilty. We feeling like, we still need to give them 20% because, they're going to they think we're not going to tip them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and tip them and make them feel stupid so that they know that we're not all like that. Nah. I'm gonna give you 15% or 10%.
Tip is based on service.
Yeah, I'm not giving you 20% for mediocre service.
Right.
But the reason that we get mediocre service is because they don't think we're gonna tip. But I'm just putting the facts out there. The millennials, them the ones that don't tip.
And millennials, there's no
and the mature crowd.
Yeah, and there's no
because they're on a fixed income.
Right. So millenniums are black, white, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, everything, Indian, whatever.
They them young folks.
It's age. It's
that's
not
on
race.
That's on a whole nother level.
Yep.
And I just yeah. So and we get and we're treated based on stereotypes. They follow us around in stores. They ask clarifying questions that they wouldn't ask anyone else.
Yep.
And they think that we don't speak well. I had somebody recently ask me if my husband was black.
Wow.
And I said, why would you ask me that? What are you trying to say? Because I'm articulating my words well, I must be around a lot of white folk? Nah, bro. I love my black husband, and I love
Who
black
said that?
men.
Is somebody else? That's funny.
Tick me off. Like, so because
man.
I'm articulating my words, what you think I've been around a bunch of white folk and I just, nah.
Oh, man.
Nah, bro.
See, and that's another stereotype
But it's a
within itself.
stereotype. It's a stereotype. We don't know how to speak good English, and so you speaking good English, you articulating, pronouncing your words correctly and whatnot. You're not talking slang. But I mean, I have an on again, off of voice. I think we've talked about this in the past podcasts. When I'm out there in the public, I have a different voice than when I'm home amongst my people. Because they wouldn't be able to handle me in the corporate world like I normally would be around my people and at home when I'm comfortable.
Yeah,
so unfortunately, I gotta put on a different.
Well, at work we have to be, pretty professional and,
But what's unprofessional about my people?
No,
like, why we gotta be unprofessional because
I'm not saying that. No, no.
They can, but that's what I'm talking about. That's that stereotyping again. They can use their slang. They can be unprofessional.
Not at the workplace.
No, they can't.
No,
white folks can. They can use their slang. They can be unprofessional. They can show up to work in yoga pants. But because I got a big booty, I show up in a skirt. I'm told that my outfit is inappropriate.
Well, I'm just saying,
because
like,
it's too tight. No, it really ain't too tight. I just got a big ass.
I just say, what I'm just like, based on where I work at, white people don't. I mean, some of the guys I know at my job, white guys and white female teachers and white teachers, whatever. They're white, and the way they talk when I'm talking to them is not the same when they're like amongst other people. Not all of them, just some of them. The ones I know. Not all of them. Not all of them.
It ain't like that in the corporate world I work in.
Corporate world might not be. You're right.
They cuss. They talk however they want.
I've seen that.
They dress however they want.
Corporate world. Yep.
But let me cuss in a meeting.
That's true, because and I'm not just saying this. We have to be 3 times as better just to be on that level.
I say some kind of slang. They don't understand what that means. What are you talking about? What does that mean? But I'm supposed to understand their slang.
What up, son? I didn't know it was just gonna be sunny out. They said it was gonna rain all day.
Well, I don't talk like I don't talk like that.
Yo, what up, God?
I don't talk like that. But I'm just saying.
Yo, son. Yo, what's up, Ma? Your mother's here?
Are you done?
Hell no, I ain't done.
Oh, Lord.
Yo, what's good? What's good? I haven't tasted it yet. How does it taste? Oh, man. All right, I'm done now.
I can't
I had
with
to
you.
throw a little humor in there.
I'm done.
Oh, man. So, Queen Bee, what's your final thoughts?
I mean, I think overall, I just, I'm going to save my final thoughts. I'm going to save them.
Okay.
I'll talk about them at the end.
All right. Well, this is the end. Let's do student.
We got the student out of the week.
I got to do student out of the week. So, student out of the week. Y'all know what it is. Student out of the week is that stupid person that does stupid things all the stupid time. And my student out of the week is every person that called the cops for no reason. Every person that
Teresa is the student out of the week.
Target Teresa, you're the student out of the week because you're the last one to do it. But
last one we've heard of.
But let's see. You got the other lady that calls for a guy barbecuing. The girl, the lady that called for the girl sleeping in the where's she sleeping at the university somewhere in the library? I don't know, but. All of y'all who calling the cops for no reason, you're stu-nots. You're stupid. You do stupid things all the stupid time. And that's stupid. You're stupid. All right? Congratulations. You're stupid. You got student out of the week on In the Lounge with Dre and V. You should be proud of yourself, but you shouldn't at the same time. you're dumb, and you're stupid. Congratulations on
done?
getting student out of the week because you're stupid and you're dumb. All right, so later, stupid. Queen V?
Alrighty then.
Okay,
Second
that was
rant in
Queen V. I
the
need
same
you.
podcast.
Queen V, that's going to do it for student out of the week. I need your words of wisdom, AKA final thoughts.
So there's a quote that I use often because I often can relate to it. It's a quote by James Baldwin, and it says, "To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time." While this country has come a long way with regard to race relations, there is still so much work to do. As Blacks in America, we must continue to be strong, supportive of each other, and continue to fight for what's right. Our ancestors did so much for us to have the freedom that we have. And, instead of getting angry and sad about the race relations in this world, I mean, you're going to be angry. You're going to be sad. I'm not telling you not to be, but let's use that as a fuel to continue to change the way people see us, to fight for what's right, to just stop hatred. Continue to get out there and vote. Get the politicians in the office that can change some of these policies. And hold them accountable. It's one thing to vote, but hold them accountable. Support your community. Buy Black when you can. Because we have to figure out a way to support ourselves and to love on ourselves because ain't nobody else loving on us. So take what our ancestors did and just continue to fight. Yes, we're free. Yes, we're able to do the same things that everyone else in this country can do, but we're still not free. And we got to continue to fight that good fight, and don't let it consume you, to the point that you're so angry that you can't fight, because at the end of the day, some of them are racist, yes, but some of them are just ignorant. They don't know no better. They ain't been taught no better, and you can't stoop to their level. Like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you need to go high. That's all I got.
And there you have it, Queen V's words of wisdom. We'd like to thank you for listening. We thank you for tuning in. We ask that you go to the website and we want to hear your comments. Go to weinathelounge.com and give us your opinion. Let us know what you think about this episode. I want to know what your opinion is. It's just not about myself and Queen V, what we think. It's about what you think, and we just want to know what you think. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to the website and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. That's going to do it for this episode. We are officially out of here.
Peace.
Peace out.